think this question relates to the earlier question about immigration, because the things that we're doing in Britain now are going to have an impact on a lot of countries around the world. We're seeing it already with very low-lying islands, the Maldives, other places where people are having to leave their homes and resettle. So in terms of how the government is addressing all of this, are you going to start looking at how we start dealing with climate refugees?
Okay. Now, who was it responding to? Was it you? Right, let's hear from you now.
I think it's quite ridiculous that the minister's talking about his government's record like that, when only this week the government's own Committee on Climate Change said that they're only on track in 5 out of 45 of the objectives to reach net zero by 2050. And that's at a time when, as I said before, they're continuing airport expansion, like here in Bristol, and they're also giving new oil licences to places in the North Sea and pushing that forward. I think that the government to claim that they're on track is completely ridiculous.
OK. Actually, Helen, I'm about to come to you. Before I do, Andrew, do you want to answer some of these points? Because the government has given the green light to the opening of a new Cumbrian coal mine, which has been criticised by the UN. You've got the point here. You've also got the Climate Change Committee saying the government's not on track. You've got the National Audit Office saying the government's not on track. Oil and gas licences off Scotland. What makes you so sure you're going to get to net zero by 2050?
Well, the first thing I'd say is that we have to take other countries with us. This is obviously a global phenomenon. A number of the guests this evening have pointed that out. We are responsible for 1% of global emissions. So if we completely close down our economy tomorrow, we will still scratch the surface of this, and it would put my constituents out of a job. There's no doubt about that. Now, I'm a local MP, and I know Bristol Airport reasonably well. I also know we're trying to green the aviation industry. I don't think anybody wants to wipe it out. I don't think anybody wants to...
Hang on a minute. Why do you think people are laughing at that?
Well, I think it's because aircraft and green don't necessarily automatically go into the same basket.
On Saturday, the government's halving air passenger duty on domestic flights. Does that feel particularly good?
If we are to maintain people's desire to do air travel, go on holiday reasonably cheaply, then we do have to green, as far as we possibly can, the aviation industry, and that's absolutely an imperative. Well, I'm not going to turn round to my constituents who work really hard, day in, day out, and who look forward to their 2 weeks in the sun. I'm not going to turn around to them and say, I'm sorry, but you can't do that. But if you lived in France or Germany or Italy, then you can. I think that would not be a popular thing to do. What I would say is, just to reiterate the point, we are streets ahead of our peer group. I'm really proud of the fact that we are decarbonising at the fastest rate in the G7. I think that is a real achievement. We should be proud of that. But I agree entirely, there is so much more to be done. I agree 2050 is a challenge target. It's going to be really difficult. It's going to alter profoundly the way we live our lives. But we have to do it.
Helen. OK, all right, you're saying 2050 is too late. I mean, Helen...